It is a promise we must keep. I therefore ask the executive department to put the full and complete funds for PhilHealth in the NEP of 2027. And we must ensure that it is not deleted or eventually taken out in the GAA of 2028.
Resolusyong pinamunuan ni Senator Kiko at pinirmahan ng 15 sa atin. The military hierarchy, particularly Chief of Staff General Romeo Browner Jr. and Defense Secretary Gilberto Chodoro Jr. have already warned us about cognitive warfare being conducted against Philippine interests, a coordinated attempt to shape public opinion and break the country's psychological will to defend its territory. I'm sure the Chinese government in Beijing would like us to think that the West Philippine Sea as a concept is an ill-defined and ambiguous claim. I'm sure the Chinese government would want Filipinos to doubt whether it's a good idea to assert our rights over rocks in the sea. Gusto din tayo takutin, Mr. President. Takutin tayo na hindi natin kaya ang puwersa ng Chinese government sa gera, but no one wants a war. Asserting our rights isn't wanting a fight, let alone a war. No one wants a war. The Chinese economy is dependent on trade. Kaya yung Chinese government mismo, takot. Takot sa gera. That is why they are doing everything short of war to harass and coerce us into doubting the justice of our territorial claim under the UNCLOS. Part of this coordinated influence operation of the authoritarian government in Beijing is the wolf warrior mentality of its ambassador in Manila, which has led to a number of unfortunate interactions with Philippine government officials, including some senators. I think no one will disagree that the Philippines should make a maximal territorial claim. However, let's not get distracted. Let's focus on the substance of the resolution, which concerns the propriety of these recent interactions with Ambassador Jean Kwan. Salamat po muli, good gentleman, mula sa Pampanga. Salamat po, Mr. President.
Maraming salamat sa ating kasamahan at ang ating comrade in arms na si Senator Risa Ontiveros from Antique, Capiz, and Panay Island.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, may we recognize our distinguished Deputy Majority Floor Leader, Senator J.V. Ercito, to also propound a few questions, Mr. President.
Yes, Mr. President, if the sponsor is willing to answer some.
Most certainly, Mr. President, to the good gentleman from San Juan and Laguna.
Yes, first of all, I would like to commend the gentleman from Quezon City and Central Luzon for this resolution, which I support wholeheartedly. Para po sa ating pong pagtindig sa Soberania ay talaga pong 100% ang ating pong suporta, no? But I just want to, Mr. President, I just want to go back in history. Ito pong, kailan ba hubang nagsimula itong expansionism ng China? First of all, your sponsor, I made it clear also, Mr. President, that I am not against the Chinese people. In fact, I mentioned last week, I grew up in a Chinese environment, having graduated the Xavier School. And I love my Chinoy friends. What I am against is the government of Xi Jinping and its expansionist scheme towards the Indo-Pacific. Mr. President, I think sometime 1999, year 2000, during the ASEAN Plus 3 Forum, my father din, alam ko nakasama ako noon just to recall. Then President Estrada stood up during the ASEAN Plus 3 Forum and criticized China, their expansionist. Because at that time, there was already, nagsisimula pa lang sila noon, parang bamboo pa lang, stilts. Wala pa yung reclaimed island. But the intelligence reports was submitted to the office of the President that they were already starting to swarm and show interest doon po dito sa mga disputed now West Philippine Sea. So he stood up and criticized China's expansionism. Nagulat po yung Vice President of China at that time because the first ASEAN leader to stand up against China at that time. So noon pa lang, kaya ako binibring up po ito, kaya ko po ito nilalabas. Gusto kong tingnan kung saan tayo nagkulang because at that time, after that, it was my father as the Commander-in-Chief who ordered that the BRP Sierra Madre be grounded in the Ayungin Shoal to mark our territory. Pero ito po sana, to serve as a temporary base of our Marines na nilagay doon and to mark as our territory. So temporary lang ho dapat yon. By now, supposedly sana, it should have been followed up and fortified into a permanent base. But unfortunately, nung pumasok po yung GMA administration, medyo friendly sa China, pumasok po yung ganun depends on the administration, no? As probably the sponsor would agree na it depends on the administration kung ano rin yung position natin in the relationship with China. Pumasok yung kay Pangulong Noynoy Aquino, at least we won against on the UNCLOS. And then pumasok po yung kay Duterte administration, which was also friendlier to China. So nag-iiba-iba po yung geopolitics and positioning. So my question is, were we remiss in our duty as a country in establishing our claim to the EEZ by not being able to establish yung pong permanent base na to have served as a marker? Ngayon po, andun pa rin yung BRP Sierra Madre. Kinakalawang na. Nakakaawa yung ating mga Marines na nandun. Dapat yung temporary lang. So, yun lang po ang tanong ko na at least we would know from now on what to do moving forward.
Yes, Mr. President, I remember the statement of then President Estrada and in the ASEAN +3. And we were actually thankful that former President Estrada took a strong stand. And you are also right that depending on the administration, whether or not our claims and our defense of our sovereign waters would be strengthened or weakened. I think moving forward, Mr. President, until this point, I think the most significant victory would still be the arbitral ruling. It is now up to us and future leaders, and this current administration has said we will not give an inch of Philippine territory, and we laud that. And this is why I think moving forward, that's why we have to rally behind that arbitral ruling, because precisely as nabanggit kanina ni Senator Risa, it is supported by many nations, Mr. President. Not just the Philippines, it is recognized. The 192 countries did not oppose, did not object to the arbitral ruling, except for China. So I think that should be fundamental in our foreign policy thrusts for years to come, to defend, to strengthen, and to work around that arbitral ruling, which awarded clearly rejected the, I called it ridiculous. In fact, the claiming 90% of the West Philippine Sea, the South China Sea, is a ridiculous claim, Mr. President, which we should all oppose moving forward, Mr. President.
Thank you for that. The reason I ask, because I think we should not make the same mistake again moving forward, and we should now really be firm this time around in our claim in the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone. Hindi na natin dapat itong ipayagan, no, na makuha puli, o kaya ay kanina pong agawid, no? Because I think as early as 1998, no, when that Saying Plus 3 happened, so nangyari po yung pagsadsad sa Ayungin Shoal. And during that time, as I mentioned, we could have already established a permanent base which could have prevented the claim of China. Ngayon po, sila po nakapagtayo na ng base, no? Nag-reclaim na sila. Meron silang meron silang full base na po, may runway at lahat na. And that during that time, ano pa lang sila, no? Swarming pa lang, panay
Yes.
barko pa lang, if I'm
Yes.
not mistaken. Tapos mga stilts pa lang, no? Mga bamboo stilts pa lang. So it depends on administration. So probably meron ding pagkukulang na doon sa ating claim. So that's why that's the reason I asked that this time around, while we in the Senate, in our own little way, at least we are trying to support our Coast Guard, our armed forces, our Philippine Navy by not intended to match China's military might. Di naman natin kaya yun eh. They are a superpower, we are not. We're just a third world nation. But to be able to put up that minimum credible defense posture, at least naman hindi tayo binabastos at binubuli. So hopefully this time around, we will have the support. I'm sure that most of our colleagues will support the Senate. I'm proud is that we have been consistent in restoring the AFP modernization budget. And in fact, it's the Senate that usually augments the AFP modernization budget for this very purpose. So
That is correct.
with that, Mr. President, dear sponsor, I support this resolution 100% and any efforts, of course, to establish and protect our territorial integrity and our sovereignty. Of course, you can be rest assured of the support of this representation. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, dear sponsor.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just to
Majority Leader.
just to respond very quickly. In the area of legislation, Mr. President, we have established, or strengthened our claim on the West Philippine Sea by defining it. The RA 9522 was passed under the GMA administration. The AO 29 was issued by President Aquino. Of course, the arbitral ruling was likewise because of the efforts of the Aquino administration. And then last year, under the BBM administration, RA 12064, Philippine Maritime Zone Act. So legislation-wise, we are building greater title, for lack of a better term, on the West Philippine Sea by way of our own laws, crafting laws to defend what is ours. Now, in the area of modernization of the armed forces, I agree. As a defense force, that is important so that we can patrol our waters. Ang isa sa mga reklamo o isang daing ng ating mga mangingisda ay natatakot silang pumunta sa ating karagatan dahil sila ay tinataboy. Pero kung meron tayong mas malawak na network at pondo para sa Coast Guard, isang civilian agency para mapatrolyo ang ating mga karagatan, mas lalo nang lalakas ang ating pagdepensa sa ating exclusive economic zone at ang West Philippine Sea. So again, it is a challenge for us in the Senate and the chairman of the Committee on Finance to help continue generating funding or providing funding for the strengthening and modernizing of our defense apparatus, Mr. President.
Senator Robin Padilla is recognized.
Maraming salamat po, Ginoong Pangulo at sa ating pinunong mayorya. Meron lamang po akong mga konting paglilinaw. Maaari po bang malinawan ng ating bayani na magsasaka, Senator Kiko Pangilinan?
Salamat. Ako ay handa na magbigay linaw sa abot nating makakaya sa ating kasamahan at ang gentleman from Nueva Ecija at Camarines
Norte. Opo.
Norte.
Maraming salamat po. Ako po bilang chairman ng Public Information po at masusing nakikinig po sa inyong palitan ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta. Katunayan, ako po'y masayang-masaya sa nangyaring palitan sapagkat nagkakaroon po ng paglilinaw. At ito po ang napakahalaga sa public information. Bagamat naging paminsan-minsan ay nagiging mainit ang talakayan, pero yun po ay nakabubuti para sa ating mga kababayan na nakikinig po sa oras na ito. Ako po'y walang kaplano-plano magtanong pero meron pong mga ilang bagay ang hindi napalawak sa usapin. Opo, katulad po, unang-una, nung nabanggit po ang suporta ng ating mga bayani na sa datahang lakas ng Pilipinas, ang kanila pong pagbibigay ng opinyon at komento at kasama na po ang Department of National Defense doon po sa pagdamay nila. Kasi sinabi po ninyo na nagkomento sila ng pagsuporta kay Commodore Tariela. Ito po ay kailangan nating linawin. Wala po akong sinasabi na may mali o ano. Linawin lang po natin. Sapagkat tama po ba ako kapag sinabi ko na ang Coast Guard, Philippine Coast Guard, hanggang sa mga oras na ito ay nasa ilalim ng DOTR?
Tama po yun.
Opo. Ibig pong sabihin, ito po ay civilian uniform personnel.
Yes, ang paliwanag ng Department of National Defense ay bagaman siya po ay nasa DOTR, hindi rin kasi pinaliwanag o nilinaw kung ng China kung sino ang pinag-uusapan nilang certain Philippine Uniformed Service members. Ibig sabihin marami. At yung spokesperson ng Admiral Trinidad ng Navy, ng Philippine Navy, ay isa rin sa mga nagbibigay ng official statements tungkol sa usapin ng West Philippine Sea.
Yun po. Kasi napaka linaw po ngayon. Opo.
At nung sinabing uniform personnel, service members, ibig sabihin marami, sinabi pa yung or they will pay the price for what they did. So ito ay maanghang na salita dahil ito ay pananakot. They will pay the price. It's a threat. Siyempre ang ating DND, ang ating Armed Forces of the Philippines, pag may threat, seryoso ito. Hindi maaaring tumahimik. Hindi maaaring sabihing deadma. Hindi po ba?
Opo,
sa linggo?
napakaganda po ng paglilinaw natin sapagkat kanina po sa palitan po ninyo ng salita. At ito naman po ay very educational po no sa lahat ng ating mga kababayan. Para mas malinaw po lilinawin po natin bilang ako po ang chairman ng Public Information, ang Philippine Coast Guard po ay hindi kailanman sa ngayon ay nasa ilalim as of February 2026 ay wala po sa ilalim ng DND at ng AFP. Tama po ba ako?
Tama ito.
Opo. At yung pahayag po ng AFP at DND, hindi po ito parang inuutusan o sinusuportahan ang mga sinasabi po ni Ginoong Tariela.
Sa spokesperson ng West Philippine Sea, anong tawag doon?
Si Tariela, sa spokesperson West Philippines.
No, no, spokesperson representing what? Yung ano yun, group, di ba? So, composed of who?
Yung sa West Philippines, yung task force.
Yeah,
Task force on West
andun ng
Philippines.
military, di ba?
Member kami doon.
Yes. Yes, si Commodore Tariela, banggamat siya ay hindi miyembro ng Sandataang Lakas, ay siya ang spokesperson ng Task Force West Philippine Sea, na kung saan ang kabuang task force, kasapi dyan ang Armed Forces of the Philippines at ang Department of National Defense, Mr. President.
Opo, tama po yan. Opo, napakaganda pong informasyon yan para sa ating mga kababayan. Pero kailangan po nating linawin, siya po ay nakasuot ng uniforme ng Philippine Coast Guard. So siya po ay civilian personnel. Hindi po siya military service personnel. Opo. Kailangan lang po natin linawin.
Yes.
Wala po akong sinasabing may mali o ano.
That is correct.
Opo, bilang ako po ay public information lamang po. At sa atin pong RA 993, ito po yung patungkol sa Philippine Coast Guard, RA 993, malinaw po dyan, nasasailalim lamang ang Philippine Coast Guard sa DND at sa AFP wartime. Ibig sabihin sa panahon po ng gera na nagdeklara ang Congress ng gera. Tama po ba?
I beg your indulgence. Ako'y humihingi ng paumanhin. Maaring ulitin po dahil meron lang nabanggit sa akin.
Opo, sorry po.
Yung ating resource person.
Opo, doon po sa
9993.
Opo, Republic Act 9993.
9993.
Opo, ito po yung patungkol sa Philippine Coast Guard. Meron po tayong wartime attachment doon.
Yes.
Ang nakalagay po doon, magiging ang PCG ay mapapasailalim sa DND at sa AFP kapag nagdeklara na po ng gera ang Congress. Tama po ba?
Tama po yun.
Opo. Gusto ko lamang pong linawin din sa ating mga kababayan, wala pa po tayo sa deklarasyon ng gera. Tayo po ngayon ay
At naway hindi mapunta ron.
inshallah. Opo. Maging maingat lang po sana tayo kapag sa mga ating mga pahayag sa inyo pong dalawa na aking mga hinahangaang senador. Sa inyo po, Senator Francis Kiko Pangilinan, kay Senator Rodante Marculeta, sapagkat sa ngayon po, ang laging pinag-uusapan, ang Chinese Coast Guard ay nasa ilalim ng Army ng China.
PLA.
Opo. Maiwasan po sana natin na magkaroon ng pag-iisip na ang ating Coast Guard ay nasa ilalim na rin ng military. Sapagkat hanggang ngayon po, ay ipinagpipilitan ko at ipinaglalaban ko kung ano po ang RA 993. Ito po ay civilian in nature. Ito po ay hindi nasa ilalim ng military. Sapagkat kapag nangyari po ito, napakadelikado po nito para sa usapin nito. Ako po, ang gusto ko po ay maayos ito ng usapan. Hindi ko po kinokontra anuman kung ano ang damdamin ng bawat Pilipino dahil tama. Tama na ipaglaban po natin yung atin. Hindi tayo pwedeng umatras. At hindi din po ako papayag na kapag tayo inaapi na, kahit Gulayat pa yan, kapag dating po sa usapin ng lalaban tayo. Pero ang pakiusap ko lamang po, tamang impormasyon ang ibigay natin sa ating kababayan. Yun lamang po sapagkat napakahirap lumaban kapag bulag ka. Yun lamang po, Ginoong Pangulo, maraming salamat po.
Maraming salamat kay Ginoong Senador Robin Hood Padilla sa kanyang mga tanong at makakaasa kayo. Kami ay nakikiisa sa iyo na ayaw natin ng gulo. Kung ako nga lang ang masusunod, kahit maghapon tayong magdebate dito tungkol sa agrikultura at pangingisda, yan talaga ang gusto kong gawin. At ito'y nakita lang natin ang kahalagahan ng ating isinasagawa, kailangan nating gawin at tayo nagpapasalamat sa kanyang mga tanong, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Mr. President, kung papayagan niyo po ako, konting manifestation lang po in support of our distinguished colleague, Senator Pangilinan.
Go ahead, you may.
Yes, Mr. President. Mr. President, we're in all-out support in defending not only our sovereignty, but our defenders, those who defend the nation every day in the seas and in land, in the online, I'd say, winning the hearts and minds of the people. Kasi kawawa naman po sila, lalo na ating mga kawani ng gobyerno, na talagang tumatayo at ipinaglalaban ang ating karapatan, ating soberenya ng ating bansa, na hindi natin sila suportahan. So, Mr. President, when I was Senate President, we had come up with several approved resolutions. I'll ask DepSec Mavic to give us some of the resolutions we passed in the 19th Congress condemning itong mga acts. I think it was the time na naputol yata yung daliri ng isang Coast Guard. Lahat po tayo ay unanimous na tumayo in defense of our Coast Guard and asking the Chinese forces to de-escalate the situation in the West Philippine Sea. Also, more so, Mr. President, we also put our money where our mouth is in the 2024 budget. I think isa sa pinakamalaking budget na nadagdagan po natin, nabigay po natin sa ating armed forces tsaka sa Coast Guard. I recall we gave the armed forces cybersecurity funds to anti-cyber espionage funds. We also gave them funds for missile systems. We also gave the Coast Guard ships. As a matter of fact, we put 2.4 billion to the Coast Guard. I'm just hoping, and I hope they're listening now, my dear friend Jay Tariela, together with the NSA, I think they're here, together with the government agencies that are listening. Sana po napunta yung pondo na ibigay po namin sa inyo. Sana po na ibili po nyo ng mga gamit. Nalaman ko po, bago lang itong budget hearing, na yung binigay po ng Senado sa ating Coast Guard na 2.4 billion para ibili po ng barko, hanggang ngayon hindi pa ginagamit, hindi pa na-obligate, Mr. President. Baka mawala na po yan, baka mabalik po yan sa National Treasury. Sayang naman yung napakahirap maghanap ng pondo para sa programa, para sa modernization. Gumalaw po kami noong 19th Congress at nadagdagan po natin ang budget nila. Sana po ma-implement po nila yun. They were supposed to, I forget the name of the ship company. It was government to government, Australian government, Austal. Austal was supposed to provide the offshore ships. That was a negotiation done when the Prime Minister of Australia, Albanese, was here in the Philippines. Hanggang ngayon, Mr. President, pawang-awa po, walang nangyari hanggang ngayon ay hindi pa nabibili. Kaya kawawa naman po yung ating mga kawani, yung ating Coast Guard, yung ating Navy. Hanggang sigaw na lang po sila. At this point in time, nagkarikature na nga. Kasi hindi natin binibigyan ng tamang equipment. Hindi natin binibigyan ng tamang bala. Nandyan na po ang pondo. I'm just giving as an example, yung sa Coast Guard, bakit hindi pa nila binibili ng barko or offshore patrol ships for our Philippine Coast Guard? Let's put our money where our mouth is. We should stop just constantly debating about what we should do and put our action to our plans. That's why it's called a plan of action. So, ang importante dyan, Mr. President, is sana tulungan din po natin sila. And ito coming 2027 budget with Senator Sherwin Gatchalian at the helm, we can add additional funding for AFP modernization and Coast Guard modernization. And kung pwede lang po, Mr. President, kung nandyan na yung pondo, huwag po sila maging mabagal at bili na po nila ng kagamitan ng ating mga sundalo and Navy personnel and Coast Guard personnel. Ito nga po, Mr. President, and I'd like to thank Mavic for this, our Deputy Secretary General. This is Senate Resolution number 79. Ito po, an act strongly condemning continued harassment of Filipino fishermen and the persistent incursion of in the West Philippine Sea by the Chinese Coast Guard and militia vessels, and urging the Philippine government to take appropriate action in asserting and securing Philippine sovereign rights over its exclusive economic zone. This was adopted in August 1, 2023, Mr. President. And it was unanimous. There was no objection from any of our members, Mr. President. Ito yung na-water cannon yung ating mga Coast Guard. At we strongly condemn them at that time. So let us unite as an institution, Mr. President. As an institution, let us unite for our men and women that are protecting our sovereignty in the West Philippine Sea. Hindi po tayo nakakahanap ng away. Let me clarify kasi sasabihin na naman nila, warmongering na naman ako. Hindi po kami naghahanap ng away sa China. Ayaw po natin awayin ang China. Ang sinabi ko nga dati, bakit po napakahirap mahalin ang China? Di ba? Sinabi ko yun eh. Gusto natin mahalin ang China. Pero bakit napakahirap mahalin ng China na kung pupunta yung ating mga magsasaka dun sa West Philippine Sea, wino-water cannon po nila. Ang laki-laki po ng dagat. Bakit hindi po tayo pwede magtulungan at magbigayan? At kung sana walang pansinan na lang. Kanya nang nangyayari sa Vietnam. With the ships of Vietnam and our other ASEAN neighbors, walang pansinan lang, nagkakamayan pa. Nagbibigayan pa ng bigas at delata. Gusto din lang stikman ang pork and beans at spam ng Pilipino. At kung nakukuha po natin yung kanilang yung noodles na galing sa Vietnam at sa ganun, walang away. Sana ganun po ang pho. Yes, yeah. Yan sana ang pwede mangyari. Kaya gusto din po natin sabihin sa lahat ay, and on record, and all members of the Senate were made co-authors, there was no objection. Lahat po ay sumuporta sa resolution number 79 of the 19th Congress. So, I'm hoping that tomorrow, once the debates are done, and we come up with the vote for or action on this adopted resolution, I hope that when we adopt it, we get as many members as we can to show our men and women who sacrifice day in and day out, and they sacrifice not only their sweat and tears, but their blood as well, because they're willing to die for our country. Let's show them that we are behind them 1,000%, Mr. President. Maraming salamat po, Mr. President. With that, to allow our minority leader to prepare for tomorrow's debate, Mr. President, with this dear sponsor, I move that we suspend consideration of the measure.
Any objection? Hearing no objection, the consideration is suspended. May we have a few minutes of
Yes, I move to
Senate
suspend,
minute
Mr.
suspension before we continue?
Yes, Mr. President.
Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I move that we recognize our distinguished colleague, Senator Lauren Legarda, to avail of the privilege hour, Mr. President.
Senator Lauren Legarda is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. Sa ating bansa, isang karaniwang kwento na kapag may nagkakasakit sa pamilya, apektado ang takbo ng buhay ng bawat miyembro, may kailangang mag-overtime sa trabaho, may humihinto muna sa pag-aaral, may nagtitipid sa pagkain para lang may pambili ng gamot at pamasahe papunta sa ospital. The fight for a just and equitable health system in the Philippines has never been easy. Today, it is a race against time, a test of whether this government still has the moral courage to protect the sick, the poor, and the most vulnerable Filipino. Ginawa natin ang Sin Tax Law at ang Universal Healthcare Act para may maasahang pinanggagalingan ng pondo at maayos na sistema sa kalusugan at para hindi na kailangang mamili ng isang pamilyang Pilipino kung kanin o gamot, kung matrikula o ospital. Yet today, As we confront continuing failures in the PhilHealth budget, we find ourselves once again defending the very foundation of these reforms, while ordinary Filipinos are losing hope in a system that was supposed to protect them. In my capacity as a member of this chamber, I voted in favor of the Bicameral Conference Committee report for the 2026 budget, subject to serious reservations. My reservations arise from the national government's continued failure to remit PhilHealth's legally mandated sin tax revenues and statutory shares from PCSO and PAGCOR. From 2023 to 2026 alone, the persistent underfunding of sin tax revenues legally dedicated to universal health care has created a cumulative 113.44 billion peso gap, while an additional 106.95 billion in statutory shares from PCSO and PAGCOR remains unpaid. They directly affect the quality, the reach, the reliability of health services for more than 112 million Filipinos. They signal a continuing failure to honor both the letter and the spirit of the health reform laws. We also saw a stark example of how government decisions can fail our people in 2024, when the Department of Finance ordered the unconstitutional return of 60 billion pesos in PhilHealth funds to the National Treasury, stripping the health system of resources that should have gone directly to patient care and public hospitals. These are all a direct blow to the Universal Health Care Act. It delays the transition to an institutionally guaranteed zero out-of-pocket care framework and weakens the safety net that millions of Filipinos depend on in moments of illness, fear, and desperation. On paper, buong populasyon ng Pilipinas ang sinasabing saklaw ng National Health Insurance Program. Ngunit, sa totoong buhay, alam natin na marami pa ring hindi nakakatanggap ng sapat na tulong sa oras ng pangangailangan. May nanay sa public hospital na pinipiling umuwi na lang dahil kulang ang pangbayad kahit may PhilHealth card siya. May lolo na pinapahaba ang pagitan ng check-up dahil iniipon pa ng pamasahe at pambayad sa laboratory. May batang hindi maipasok agad sa ospital dahil takot ang magulang sa posibleng bill kahit may sinasabing coverage ng PhilHealth. Ang layunin ng programa ay bawasan ang gastos mula sa bulsa at pigilan ang pagbulusok ng pamilya sa mas malalim na kahirapan dahil sa sakit. Kapag hindi binibigay, dinedelay, dinadivert ang pondong malinaw na nakalaan sa kalusugan, ay napipilitan ng mga tao na magmalimos para sa serbisyong nakasaad sa batas. Hindi lang ito masamang pamamalakad, ito ay tahasang pang-aabuso sa pondo ng taong bayan at sa tiwalang binibigay nila sa pamahalaan. Para na rin nating sinasabi sa kanila, bahala muna kayo, gamitin niyo ang sarili niyong kaunting ipon kung meron. Isa pa sa nais kong pansinin ay ang Medical Assistance for Indigent and Financially Incapacitated Persons, MAIFIP, na nilikha para tulungan ang mga hindi kayang magbayad sa ospital. Pero sa practice, napipilitan ng mga pasyente na mag-ikot sa iba't ibang tanggapan, magdala ng endorsements, makiusap sa bawat confinement sa halip ng otomatikong maprotektahan sa pamamagitan ng PhilHealth gaya ng diwa ng Universal Healthcare Law. Hindi dapat nakikiusap ang mahirap para mabuhay. Hindi dapat namamalimos ang may sakit para magamot. Ang tungkulin natin bilang mambabatas at opisyal ng pamahalaan ay siguraduhin na kapag may sakit ang isang Pilipino, pupuntahan niya ay ospital at health center na may sapat na pondo at malinaw na tulong, hindi ang kawalan ng pag-asa. Ang Medical Assistance for Indigent and Financially Incapacitated Patients weakens the spirit of the Universal Healthcare Law and undermines PhilHealth's mandate, which is why we must begin its gradual phase-out and redirect its funds to PhilHealth. This will strengthen case rates, expand coverage across all social classes, and restore coherence to our health financing framework. Our responsibility does not end with the passage of the General Appropriations Act. It begins with the faithful execution of the laws we enact. We must closely monitor and evaluate the implementation of health programs by the Department of Health and all its implementing agencies to ensure that approved appropriations translate into real services, real medicines, real hospital beds, real protection for Filipino families. Anything less is a betrayal of public trust. I've warned before, I will warn again. When agencies sit on their budgets or fail to implement them properly, families wait longer for health centers. Patients are turned away from hospitals. Children lose access to life-saving treatment. Idle funds are not savings. Their lives put on hold. Services denied. Opportunities taken from people who cannot afford to wait. This is why budget reform must be matched by institutional reform. Dahil dito, sinusuportahan po natin na ganap na paganahin at paigtingin ang trabaho ng Joint Congressional Oversight Committee on Public Expenditures chaired by Senator Gatchalian. Hindi ito para makialam sa pang-araw-araw na operasyon ng mga ahensya, kundi para bantayan kung ang pondong para sa kalusugan ay talagang nakakarating sa mga institusyong dapat magserbisyo sa tao. Its purpose is simple and principled: to guard the public purse, to ensure that legally mandated health funds are honored, to protect the Filipino people from the silent erosion of their right to timely, affordable, and quality healthcare. Ito rin ang dahilan kung bakit ko hinain ang Senate Bill number 1662, PhilHealth Automatic Funding Act, na nag-amyenda sa Universal Healthcare Act upang matiyak na otomatikong mailalaan at mailalabas ang lahat ng pondong nakatalaga para sa PhilHealth. Nililinaw rin ng panukalang batas na ito ang obligasyon ng BIR, PAGCOR at PCSO na magsumite ng quarterly report sa Kongreso at i-post ito sa kanilang mga website upang matiyak ang transparency at pananagutan. Kapag matatag at malinaw ang daloy ng pondo, mas nagiging posible ang tunay na universal healthcare, hindi lamang sa teksto na nakasulat sa batas, kundi sa aktwal na karanasan ng mga pasyente sa barangay health stations, rural health units, pampublikong ospital sa buong bansa. The health of our people is not a side issue. It is a core pillar of human capital, economic resilience, and social stability. A country that cannot guarantee basic health care to its people cannot credibly speak of inclusive growth or justice. We must act now. We must insist that all legally due funds for PhilHealth and the entire health sector be fully remitted, transparently reported, and promptly utilized. We must pass structural reforms that make compliance with the law automatic, not optional. This serves as a warning, a direct warning to all officials, including PhilHealth, the Department of Health, and any agency entrusted with public health funds. Any form of abuse will not be tolerated. Your Senate will ensure that all erring officials, those who authorize, defend, or tolerate misuse of health funds will be held fully accountable under the law. I call on our chamber and all our partners in government to act decisively and without delay. We must stop hiding behind procedures and start delivering what the law already requires. Ang usapin ng PhilHealth ay hindi lamang tungkol sa accounting o cash flow. Ito'y usapin ng buhay at kinabukasan ng mga Pilipino, lalo na mga mahihirap, matatanda, may kapansanan, mga batang umaasa na sa oras ng sakit, hindi sila iiwan at tatalikuran ng kanilang gobyerno. The struggle for universal healthcare is not just a policy debate, it is a moral emergency. It is a promise we must keep. I therefore ask the Executive Department to put the full and complete funds for PhilHealth in the NEP of 2027. And we must ensure that it is not deleted or eventually taken out in the GAA of 2028.